Hey guys, Creator Mom. So last night yesterday, when I was leaving the store, my car wouldn't start. And I checked my oil. My oil was fine. But it sounded like like a battery thing or something. So anyways, it was funny because I'm like, I'm getting better at this, like, I don't know. I think that a lot of us function well in crisis, but don't know how to function calmly and maybe normally when things are going well and life is thriving. Like, it's like for some of us, we're not well versed in how to handle that. Like, oh my God, like things are going well, like I'm thriving, like this is scary. But I think for some, having a emergency or like a situation, it's just like, oh yeah, we're on top of it. It's like, oh yeah, we got this, in a way. Well, anyways, I was observing how I was, and it was like interesting because at first I was like, okay, well, I have my Geico app. I can call for a tow truck driver to give me a jump or something. So that's, obvious step that I can take. And I was already thinking like, oh, if the car had to get towed by some chance and it didn't respond to the jump, I thought we're in the perfect place to take the bus. There's a bus system right there that goes right to where we live. So that was like perfect if things were to go that way. Like, it's like your brain starts thinking of different ways things can go. And then I thought, okay, so I submitted the Geico, tow request or whatever, jump request, but then I started looking around. I'm like, and I saw a guy over there with a big pickup truck. I'm like, let me ask this guy. I just got real like looking around me and like seeing who I could call on for like help, essentially, which I was really proud of myself for. I'm like, wow, look at me. Like, look at me asking people like, hey, can I trouble you for a minute, So I asked one guy, I said, can I trouble you for a minute? Can you listen to my car and see what you think the issue is? And then he's like, okay. Like, he's like, I'm not like really a mechanic, but I can see what I can do or what I can hear. So I turned my car on. He goes, yeah. He goes, that sounds like a battery issue or something. But my windows and stuff were going up, but I guess I just didn't have enough power to start my car. So then, I'm making my coffee. So then I'm like, okay, thank you very much, And he goes on his way. And then I see this other guy. He kind of has like a pickup truck, but it looks a little bit utility-ish. And then, but you know what? He got in his car and he kind of took off too fast, like pretty quickly. But I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'll just let him go. So then another guy with the pickup truck pulls up that looks similar to the one that just took off. And I'm like, wait a minute, is that the same guy? But it was a different guy. And he had a utility truck. He had more of a, like this, what he had was definitely more of a utility truck because he had a ladder on it. He had some ladders and stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to ask this dude. So he gets out his pickup truck and I run over there. I'm like, excuse me, could I trouble you for some help? I said, my car is broken down and I think it's a battery issue. Do you have a jump or something? And he goes, you know what? He's like, I don't think I have a jump, but he said, let me check in this safety bag I have or whatever. I was like, okay, cool. So he checks. He's like, actually, I do have one. I'm like, oh, awesome. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna pull in front of you. It was like really open parking lot where it was very easy. Like nobody was parked in front of me, so it was like perfect. It wasn't like, thank God I wasn't parked in like a crowded parking lot. So he pulls right in front of me, and then he jumps my car. He goes, oh yeah, you got a lot of like acid around your like little battery terminals or whatever. So he poured some Coca-Cola on it and it cleared right up. And I'm like, that is so funny. Like, I love dealing with people who know how to deal with mechanical stuff. Karen, if you're listening to this video, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like with Lenny, like it's like with me, like I'm new to like car stuff and working on car stuff, and I would never do that because I'd be like, oh my god, am I gonna hurt the battery? And is somebody gonna get electrocuted if I just pour Coca-Cola on my freaking battery while it's being, whatever. Anyway, so he cleared a lot of that acidy, like white powdery stuff off of the battery terminals with the Coca-Cola. And then yeah, he started my car, said, thank you so much. I was like, what's your name? He's like, Tony. So shout out to you, Tony. 100-fold freaking blessing for you, dude. So yeah, Tony. And he didn't tell me what his business name was, but I said, well, and then I asked him, I said, oh, were you on your way to work or something? Or like on your lunch break? Because it was around 12 or 1 o'clock. And then he was like, oh, I was kind of on my way to work. But I think he was stopping at the hardware store real quick because there's a hardware store there too, Harbor Freight. So then, frickin' flies. So then, he's like, but I work for myself, so it's fine. I was like, well, thank you so much. Like, just thank you, like, thank you for stopping. Thank you for taking time to help me. And then as he continued to walk, park his car back and walk away, I was like, what business do you have? He said he does roofing and sheet metaling. But he didn't tell me his business name. So, hey, maybe I'll look him up. Tony, roofing, sheet metaling, Nice guy. Nice guy. I love nice people. So, yeah, it was a really good experience, And, my kids were like, well, why didn't you throw him some money? Why didn't you give him like $5 or something, or some money, And I was like, you know what? Like, you ever, like, some situations, like, are good for putting money on. It has to be a certain amount of money. Like, in my wallet, I literally only had like 5 singles. I don't know. Like, sure, that's not, in this day and age, like, somebody giving me $5, like, that's, that could be a nice gesture. That could be fun. Like, oh, wow, thank you so much for these $5. Like, maybe I can buy, like, part of my lunch or a drink or something like that. But at the same time, sometimes what somebody has done and the energetic feedback they get is greater than the $5 you would give them. Like, I don't know. That's how I see it. Sometimes to give somebody $5 feels measly because you just dampened their experience of freely helping you and all that gave you, because then you just gave them this $5. So like, oh, I guess she kind of paid me $5. Or kind of like, sometimes it dampens it. Sometimes you have to be a receiver. Sometimes you have to just allow people to help you like that. Now, if I wanted to be super generous and I had like $50 on me, granted, he just, started my car. Like, what was that worth? $50? Like, it could have been, yeah. Like, it just depends, But if you handed somebody $50, like, hey, thank you so much for taking your time to help me, because I didn't have a jumper and I didn't want to wait just for convenience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to wait for the tow truck driver for an hour and a half or 2 hours. You came, you took the time, the 5-10 minutes to start my car. Here's $50 for you, man. That, I feel, would be like a topper. Like, that would be good. But to throw somebody 5 singles, that would be like, to me, that would be an energetic downer. So I think him walking, I was explaining to my kids, like, my opinion about it. I think him walking away knowing like somebody greatly appreciated like his help in their time of like need really quick was worth more than $5. It was, and the $5 would have ruined it. But yeah, anyways, like, I just, good Samaritans, right? And we all know, like, most of us would do it if somebody was stuck or stranded and all they needed was a jump. We would pull our cars up and we would be happy to like help a person. It would feed us. It would feed us energetically. It would make us feel good. Like, wow, we helped that person in their time of need, and all it took was 5 or 10 minutes of my time, and I helped a mom with a couple of kids, and that's awesome. All right, guys. I just wanted to share that experience because because it was fun. All right. Have a wonderful day.